All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, everybody. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I'm your host and educator, Mr. Abdullah, here giving you education from a black male educator's perspective. If you like what you see, like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, put us in the algorithm, let people know that we're here discussing education from the black male perspective. Now, today we're going to talk about the migrant crisis, which was aptly entitled the Biden crisis, and how it has affected the public school system, not only in major cities like New York City and Chicago, but across the country.
Well, the New York City school year just started, but already there is grim news for parents. Budget cuts ordered by Mayor Adams to pay for asylum seekers could affect every school and every program.
This as the White House and New York officials argued about what exactly the feds are doing to help. CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer here now in the newsroom to sort it all out for us. Marcia.
Well, Maurice and Christine, the White House staged an unusual background briefing for New York reporters to try to make the case they're full-fledged members of Team New York in dealing with the migrant crisis. But that didn't stop School Chancellor David Banks from warning that without a huge infusion of cash, school budgets are in for a painful haircut.
Tough times are here.
Schools Chancellor David Banks talking about the cold, hard reality facing his agency as they attempt to come up with budget cuts of 5% by November, up to 15% during the course of the school year to help the city pay for the migrant crisis. A third of the city's budget goes to schools, $37 billion. So the first round of 5% could be nearly $2 billion.
It's going to probably affect every aspect of what we do. I can't imagine any program that's not going to be affected by cuts of this size. Everything is on the table.
Okay, as you see, there has been a lot of discussion regarding the breakdown of the educational system in general and how the migrant or Biden crisis has dramatically exacerbated that system. I work in one of the school districts on the Eastern Seaboard, and even though we have a state mandate that all literature must be translated into the literature of the larger minority groups or non-English speaking groups in our districts, we don't even have money for that. I personally took upon as my own personal sojourn to actually translate our student handbook into Haitian Creole, and I'm working alongside another coworker to do that in Spanish because we have a large Haitian population as well as a large South American and Central American population in my district. And I'm watching single-handedly the services for our students to diminish in order to accommodate these students. And they deserve the right to education. I truly do understand that. But we also must consider that they're coming. And while they're coming, it has been considered a disaster for the economies. According to New York Post's article, I believe this is September 11th, the New York City migrant surge is a disaster for learning for all kids. Public school students are reading already at their reading scores and their math scores have been falling for decades now, and they just hit a new low. And they said the cause of it has been because migrant students have been coming at a rate that's astronomical. In 1980, it says there were 9% of the public schools. Now it's 25% of our public school students are migrant children. Until the 1960s, children arriving in the country were put in public schools without interpreters and bilingual teachers. Now those are a requirement, requiring much more financial resources. It says here that the average cost for a student in New York for the 2023-2024 school year is $38,000 per student. Once again, let me say this, $38,000 per student. And because we have taken in 20,000 migrant children into our school system over here on the East Coast, we have already allocated $760 million just for education. That's not counting healthcare. That's not counting lodging. That's not counting transportation, any of those things. So just in education alone, we have diminished our coffers by the total of $760 million. Also, consider that the average classroom size is 24.4 students in New York City. And it states that the optimal class size should be 18. So we were at 24.4 prior to the migrant crisis. So now the Eastern Seaboard, in particular New York City, they're up by about 20% in the classroom sizes. So we got to always remember that there is not only the human cost that is affected on the side of the migrants, but the individuals, the residents, the citizens of our cities and our states. It is clear and obvious to see that the migrant crisis, or the Biden crisis, has become a major thorn in the side of Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are taking the easy way. They're saying we're going to ship our migrants to the sanctuary cities, which happen to be Democrat. And according to NPR.org, in an article entitled "Thousands of Migrant Kids Are Starting School in NYC, Is the System Prepared?" It says here, Vanessa's routine in the city is about to change. Summer is over and she's headed off to school. She's starting 8th grade, doing around 20,000 other migrant children. And it says part of the wave of immigration has come to the city in recent years, around 100,000 people since last spring alone. Officials have reminded schools that they must accept all children regardless of their immigration status. So there is no turning away. We have to deal with these students, and we have to provide them the best education possible, even though our resources may not avail it to them. I like to say this, being a foundational Black American, a lot of times we get caught up in the issue of understanding oppression, understanding ridicule, and mistreatment, injustice. So when we see other people's plight, we kind of personalize it. I like to go on the record as saying, and I say this unapologetically, I do have respect for all people's plights, but I will not sacrifice myself nor my community for another's. That's not the way animals work in the world. That's not how people work in the world. We have got to look out and maintain ourselves. And once we are solidified, once we're solid, once we're together, then we can help other people. A weak man can help another weak man. One of the men has got to gain some strength and then assist the weaker. So that's how I honestly feel about it. I genuinely hope that this situation does come to a head. There's some financial infusion on the part of the financial government because they're the ones who created this situation, created this mess. But as you can see, the numbers bear out that right now, specifically on the Eastern Seaboard and in certain Midwestern states, the migrant crisis is bubbling over. It has the potential to cause tension amongst the communities, particularly the Black American community, because these are where a lot of these migrants are being funneled to. The scramble for resources will cause tensions. Hopefully it only stays there and it can be handled diplomatically. But in the meantime, we just have to keep our eyes on it, keep our ears. If you have any information, please email me at info@allthingseducator.com. Once again, that's info@allthingseducator.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. And you are dismissed.
Yeah!